GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show where we handle crypto like your best wingman handles introductions at a bar. I'm your host, Jay Hamilton, and today we are joined by Zeneca, who has been here before. He has ridden the banana zone. He's been in cycles. He's gone all the way up and he's gone down. And we are going to learn from him today. We're going to dive into the mistakes he's made, what he's done right, what's allowed him to be so successful in the past, and really give you guys an opportunity to learn from a multi-million-dollar investor who has been here before. We're going to talk about we're in the banana zone. What does that mean? How not to fuck it up? And make sure you guys stick around to the end to hear Zeneca's picks for this week, what he is eyeing, what he's watching. Before we jump in, we just need to take a minute to hear from our sponsors who make this show possible. Whether you're bullish or bearish on MicroStrategy, T-Rex ETFs are your gateway to dynamic market plays. Get exclusive access to leveraged exposures with the first 2x short or 2x long ETFs designed specifically for MicroStrategy stock. Position yourself with precision. With T-Rex, you gain access to powerful tools for sophisticated investors. Meet Uphold, a trading platform that's changing the way you think about money. Imagine this, earning up to 4.9% APY on your US dollars. No catches, no lockup periods, and no fees. And yes, it's FDIC insured up to $2.5 million. They offer access to over 300 digital assets, which you can trade, store, and exchange with confidence, knowing Uphold operates with a 100% reserve and a transparent model. Create your account, fund it with a few taps, and you're ready to go. Click the link in the description and join Uphold today. Zen, what's going on, my man? Welcome back to the show.
Good to be back. I mean, the bull market is here. Like in the last week, Bitcoin's up 20K or something. It feels good. It feels electric. It's an exciting time. It's like the no sleep time of the cycle where it's just, you just wake up in the middle of the night, check your phone, and then you're awake for 3 hours. It's fun times ahead.
I love that you're such a poker player / online degen when you say things like wake up in the middle of the night and stay up for 3 hours.
Or just don't go to sleep. Like I'm a big fan of sleep. I'm a big advocate. I think, sleep and mental health and all that is super important. But like there are certain moments in life where you can go with less sleep for a little while. And this feels like one of those moments.
Let's go. I love it. Okay, first question, maybe the easiest. Are we in the banana zone?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to agree with that. We had the Trump victory. We had not just Trump winning, but like a ton of crypto positive senators and just like government officials now getting into power. It just seems like so many catalysts are in place. So many dominoes have fallen. We've smashed past previous all-time highs. The M2 money supply is looking good. It's just like interest rates are coming down. It's just everything is lining up. So it's very difficult to imagine it not just being up only for a while. Obviously, there's always a 5-10% chance of a black swan event. We crash. Everyone gets it wrong. I was on here a few months ago saying, maybe 20-25% chance, which if Trump didn't win, we probably wouldn't be in a much worse position now. But he did. And, to me, it's like risk on season.
All right. Awesome. Give us, before we jump into what you've done well and what you have fucked up or not done so well in the past, give us can you just give us like a history lesson on how many cycles you've been through and like, what does your portfolio looked like through those cycles?
This is my third cycle. So I first bought significantly in 2017. I put in maybe somewhere in the realm of around 10,000. I bought, ETH when it was, I think $140 to begin with. And then I was buying all the way up to about $1,000. I bought random altcoins back then. I remember Ripple I bought, and then it ran to like $3 and I thought I was a genius. I round tripped most of it. I think at the peak, my portfolio was worth about 100, 150, maybe 200K back then. And I probably took, 30, 50K of profits out of that. And the rest I just held and then went all the way down, and almost all of it went to zero. Fortunately, I held some ETH, which I don't know, I had like 10 or 15 ETH, which went down to being worth not much in the the next bear market. But then 2020, 2021 rolled around, and all of a sudden started becoming worth something again. And so that 21 cycle is probably was the big cycle for me. I had that ETH, I deposited some more fiat, bought more ETH mostly, and turned that into flipping and trading NFTs and meme coins back then. And that went all the way up to, like, on paper, there was a few days where my paper net worth portfolio was worth like 20, 25 million. But it was like very, very brief for a few days. But there were like weeks where it was worth probably around that 10-ish million mark. And I took some profits out, but I would say I round tripped 80% of that, 70, 80%, which, you learn a lot from that. Obviously, it was an incredible cycle. I am very fortunate and grateful. It worked out really well. It could have been better, but could have been much, much worse. And the last couple of years has been, planting seeds, doing some investments, deciding where I want to allocate the rest of my funds, building, advising, doing a bunch of other random things. And now we're getting into, we kicked off the next bull run again. We'll see how high things can go from here. But I don't know. I have my goals, and we'll see if we can hit them. I'm no longer trying to like 100x everything and even 20x everything. I'll be happy with like a 3x from here.
I love the. I actually really respect people who are happy with a 3x from here. And I know everybody listening is like, 3x, like, come on, man, that's so lame. That's not what I'm looking for. But like, let's be real. Go ahead. You jump in. You got a thought.
Yeah, no, I just want to add an asterisk where it's like, I'm still looking for like certain tokens to do a 10x, 20x, 50x, potentially even 100x. I'm talking about my overall portfolio. So like, I might only have 10% of my portfolio in meme coins. And so maybe I get some that do 100x, but that's only a 10x overall, and maybe I'll lose some money elsewhere. And also, the other asterisk is I'm in a very different position to other people. Last cycle, when I had much less capital relatively, I would not have been content with a 3x. I saw the opportunities available, and I was like, I want to get 10x, 20x, 100x, because it is possible if you really buckle down and work hard. I think, and I had the ability to take higher risks. I didn't have the responsibilities and stuff like that. So I think it just depends on who you are and where you are in your life and in your portfolio. And having clear goals is the most important part, because some people want 1,000x, some people are content with a 5x or 2x.
Okay, let's talk about what did you fuck up in the last banana zone? Not the last cycle. Let's focus on the last time we were here, roughly 4 years ago, not exactly, but last time we were in this banana zone. What mistakes did you make that you think somebody can learn from and not make the same mistakes this time around?
I think two of the biggest ones I always keep coming back to is, one is the obvious one that most people make, and that is like, you just drink the Kool-Aid too much. You get too caught up in the euphoria. You think a new paradigm, a new world order is settling in. It's just up only forever, or even if it does drop, it's going to go up so much more first, then it'll drop down to a place higher than we are now. And just thinking like, all right, NFTs are going to change the world. The technology is so good. I still believe all of this. It is. But it doesn't mean that the speculative tokens that we were buying, selling, and trading back then were necessarily going to go up. And then the second mistake I made, which is very much a corollary to that, is the idea that I felt diversified when I really wasn't. And in that, I mean, like, I was like, well, all right, even if my Art Blocks NFTs go down, I at least have Bored Apes, at least I have a Punk, at least I have these other NFTs. All right, even if most of the NFTs go down, at least I have some of these meme coins, at least I have some ETH, at least I have. And the reality is that everything in crypto is correlated. People talk about diversification in crypto. It's kind of a myth. You can diversify into like RWAs and DPIN and ETH and Sol and Bitcoin and meme coins, and it's all correlated to Bitcoin heavily. And so when a bear market comes in, when Bitcoin goes down 60%, everything else is going to go down way more. And so that idea of feeling like I was diversified when I really wasn't is it definitely hurt me a lot. And so I'm just learning from those two and trying to be more mindful, and like, even in the crazy mania phases, try and calm myself, take some deep breaths. It's almost like the reverse is an issue now, where you have that PTSD where it's like, all right, I shouldn't just sell for like a 20% profit now. It's like learning to let things ride a little bit more, and obviously timing the top is the most difficult thing possible. So just trying to thread that needle.
When it comes to diversification, how do you think? How are you managing that?
Yeah, so I've for the last 12 to 18 months, I've just had this running theme in my mind of over diversification being super bad. And so I'm constantly trying to aggressively cull my portfolio and get it into the fewest number of tokens possible. At the same time, I'm battling with this desire to be in the trenches and to try and hit a few hundred X's and to try and ride some meme coins higher and higher. And so it's constantly like, all right, things get out of control. And then, all right, every few days or every week and a half, sit down and just sell a whole bunch of stuff and like put it into the more higher conviction stuff, as well as ensuring I take some profits and put it into like Sol or ETH or Bitcoin or stables and just put that in a wallet that's not being touched. Those are the big things. I recognize that it's super easy to just get swept up in the mania and buy some random coins because your group chat's aping into something, your friends are talking about something, your favorite Twitter influencer, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many, and there's good narratives and you can make good money. But I think just being wary of it getting out of hand really, really quickly and being like, oh, I got a great portfolio. I have 50 tokens and they're all doing well right now. And even if 20% of them go to zero, I'm still doing well. That's a trap.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think is the ideal for, and I know this ranges for everybody, but how many tokens do you think is a good portfolio?
I think 5 to 10 is a good number. And it's really tough. Like even when I cull, I find myself with like 20. And that's like aggressively cutting a lot of stuff. I still have 20. And maybe 20 is okay for someone who is full-time in crypto, managing the portfolio on the daily, keeping an eye on everything and being very aggressive about it. But I would say even for myself and certainly for almost everyone, 10 is enough. 5 is probably enough. Like the problem with less than 5, if you're trying to play outside of the majors, is that you can have a lot of conviction on something and get it wrong. You can have a lot of conviction on something and the market just doesn't move on it. So I think you do want to find a few different tokens that you have a lot of conviction on and allocate into those. But the more you get, like if you think about it this way, if you rank every token you have in level of conviction, like you will be able to decide, do I like this token more than this token or this token more than this token? And then you get to a point where you have a list of 30, 40, 50 tokens or 20, and you're like, well, why am I holding the bottom 50% of this if I have less conviction of these than these? And there is some equilibrium tipping point where you realize, okay, I want to have enough to be a bit diversified, but I don't want to go way down the risk scale there.
So what if you want to buy a new token then? Do you hold yourself to a rule of selling out of a certain token?
It varies. Not necessarily, but usually what I'll do is I'm in a bull market, things move so rapidly and so quickly. So I think we're in the season of like eat first, think later. And that basically means having a bit of money aside to buy into things and then spend, the 2 hours after that or the day or the couple of days doing more research and deciding, all right, how much conviction do I actually have in this thing? I had some amount of conviction to buy it in the first place. It was whether it was a gut feeling, whether it was, you like the thesis, the team, the ticker, the meme, the whatever it is you're actually buying, the blockchain. But then evaluate it against the rest of your portfolio and be like, all right, I like it, but do I like it more than this or more than this? And having that ability to ape first and then evaluate, I think is something that you kind of have to do in bull markets. It matters much less in a bear market. In a bear market, you can take a week to decide if, all right, is this a token I want long term or not? Very unlikely it's going to 10x in a few days. In a bull market, you sleep on something and you wake up and it's 10x or 2x or up 50%. So it's just it pays to trust your gut and move quickly, but I think it also pays to be aggressively reevaluating your conviction levels.
How do you know? One thing that is very difficult to know is when you've missed the pump on something, especially in the bull, because things are moving so fast. Pepe is up 100%, I think, in the last like 2 days or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, how do you know? Because that's always the hardest thing. Is you look at it and you're like, okay, have I missed it? Is it too late, or this is just the beginning?
It's impossible. It's just so impossible. Like the reality is that you're going to miss basically everything. Like you can apply metrics by like comparing it to similar tokens, and like I'll use Peanut as an example. The meme coin Peanut, it went from like nothing to sitting at around 4 million for a little bit, and now it's at like 1.5 billion. So that's like a 400x in
1.7 billion now.
Okay, 500x in. I saw it at 4 million, by the way. I didn't buy it then. 500x in 2 weeks, which is nuts. And this is only bull market things. I bought it at, I think, like 30, 40 million. And I sold, I bought it with like size. I bought a lot of it. I sold most of it by within that like 100 to 150 million range. Because that's a great X, multiple. I don't think it can run up much more. And, it dropped down, it consolidated. And then Binance lists it out of nowhere and it runs up to 400 million. At that point, I'm like, this is kind of crazy. Do we consider shorting it? I don't feel like buying now. It's gone up so much. Next day, later that day, actually, it's up to like 1 billion. And you got to think, all right, surely it's close to the top. All right, maybe it runs up. Maybe it does like a 50% here, maybe 2x, but like there are other better opportunities and it just keeps going up. And so you can apply logic, you can apply reason, you can compare it to other tokens, you can compare it to, well, GOAT took so long to go up, and with you can just make all the same similar comparisons. But in a bull market, sometimes things just get batshit crazy, and you just have to take things on a leap of faith. Make educated guesses, and most importantly, accept that you're going to get things wrong and you're going to miss most things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look, Peanuts up 1,100%, 10x, 11x in the past 7 days.
Yeah, and it had previously gone up like 100x before that or something. 50x.
Before that, yeah.
The chart is mind-boggling. Yeah.
Is it too late to buy Peanut now?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not buying now. I think it's. I mean, it's possible. Like you could be the next Doge. You can go to 50 billion. Meme coin super cycle bull markets get absolutely crazy. However, even in bull markets, there's usually pullbacks, and it's gone so parabolic so quickly. But I would have said the same thing at 1 billion or 800 million, and it's gone up so much. So it's just like, if you feel a real strong desire to buy in and you really have a lot of conviction in, the best thing to do when it's run up this much is buy a small amount now, so you have a bit of exposure, and leave a lot of dry powder to buy it if it drops, because then you capture some of the upside. And if it just keeps running, then okay, you miss out on some gains if you just top loss at everything. But more often than not, it will drop. And like even successful non-meme coins have 60, 70% corrections. Meme coins often have those corrections all the time. I'd be shocked if Peanut doesn't go back to like 1 billion even, which is like a 50+% drop from here. But who knows? Again, who knows? We're in this new paradigm. Like it really is this. I just caught myself saying the word new paradigm. That's bull market mania, euphoria cycle. But like this is the thing. We're in that cycle. We know it's all going to go to zero, or like meme coins are going to go to zero or close to zero. We know that everything's going to crash at some point, but you have to like suspend belief for a certain period of time to capitalize on the gains. Like with NFTs, everyone in like June 2021 said this is insane, crazy, it's all crash. If you just ducked out then, you would have missed out on most of the gains. So you have to not mid curve it as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about over trading? I mean, if you're listening to this show, you're sitting there, maybe you don't own Peanut, maybe you've never even heard of Peanut, which is a meme coin. And you're like, shit. Now you're like, oh, I gotta go look up Peanut. And all you do during bull market every day is every influencer, every newsletter, podcast is throwing another token at you. You bring up Coin Market Cap or CoinGecko or whatever you use, and everything is up. And this one's, you've never heard of it, it's up 100%. How do you manage over trading?
It's so difficult. I honestly think this is probably the most prevalent leak or mistake that traders make in markets in general, and especially in crypto. And I very much include myself. This is probably my biggest mistake and leak, because I am, full-time in this space. I'm in Discord groups, I'm in Telegrams, I'm on Twitter all the time. I see 100 tickers a day that I genuinely think that's a good one, it's going to run. And you know what? Probably a lot of them are good buys and will run. But the more you buy, the less attention you can spend on each of them. And again, it's like you have to balance the conviction level you have in every new token versus the existing tokens and other ones. I mean, there's no easy solution to this other than just keep hammering it into your head that like, don't overtrade, realize it's a mistake, learn to sit on your hands. To me, the best way to combat this is journaling. Like keep a trading journal, a regular journal online, write it with pen and paper at the end of each day or a few times throughout the day or every second, just regularly go in and like write your thoughts on, all right, you bought some tokens. How did it go? You saw a token and you didn't buy it. How did it go? And everyone thinks, oh, I don't need to write it. I'll just, I'm living this. I'll remember it and just like, I'll pay a bit of attention and I'll learn this. You forget that shit really quickly. By writing it down, and especially by going back and rereading it, you will significantly improve your ability to sit on your hands, to keep the conviction you have in the right things, to not FOMO. It's the single biggest, best piece of alpha I can give anyone. And it's not just me. Like you listen to any top trader out there, they all say keep a journal. Keep a journal. Like just do it. Trust me.
I want to know if you guys listening in, do you guys keep a journal? Let us know in the show notes. I'm honestly curious how many people keep a journal. I feel like it's one of those, it's like keeping a journal in life. Everybody knows it's good for you to write in a journle, but nobody does it. Nobody does it. So
the difference here though, I will say, is that in life, it's your mental health that improves. And that's such a, it's great. In crypto, it's your financial situation. You can make money and everyone loves the incentive structures of making money. It's like, mental health is one of those things that it's the most important thing, but it's so nefarious. So like, not nefarious. It's so like, just like abstract and, people are like, yeah, I know I should do that. It's like eating well and exercising and all that kind of stuff. But keeping a journal you'll be shocked at how quickly the results are, that you just start to feel better, make better decisions, make better trades. It'll like within days, it'll just, you'll just be amazed.
Okay. Let's go to your picks of the week. What are you looking at? What tokens do you like right now?
Yeah. So the token I like the most is Doge, but not the main Doge. So like everyone will have seen that Donald Trump announced the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, as this new government thing headed up by Elon and Vivek in America to help make the government more efficient. Obviously, there's a meme coin around that. It's been around for a few weeks since before the election when it was first announced, but since the election, it has only sort of really taken off. I think it's around like 400 million market cap right now. Part of my thesis these days is just go inside the things I have the most conviction in. This is the new thing I have the most conviction in. So I've been selling off other positions. I've been buying. I bought it, I think 70 million first. I bought it 150 million. I bought it 200. I bought it 300. I'm just continuing to buy. I'll buy dips. I think that if this cycle continues the way it is continuing, looking like it's going to continue, and we get the meme coin mania, I think it's one of it's going to get so much attention that it'll probably pop off. So that's probably my biggest pick of the moment. And then I have like some smaller market cap stuff as well. That I can talk about, but that's a big one.
Give us one of your smaller market cap ones.
Okay, so this is a much higher risk one. The ticker is Ross, ROSS, and it's for Ross Ulbricht, the Silk Road guy who Trump has basically said in his campaign, I will free him from jail, because the crypto space is pretty divided about whether he should be locked up or not and how the whole case was handled. And I think it's like 7 or 9 million market cap right now. It's one of those ones which I could see it really exploding and like the community will really rally behind it because it's a cool cause and idea. Obviously it depends on Trump actually following through with his word. It's one of those longer term ones where it's like attention could fade, and then it's not until January when he gets into office that or it could be months after that when it actually happens. And so it is riskier, but it is one of the ones that I hold a bunch of. I bought it at first at like 3 or 4 million, then it dropped down to like under 1 million. So it kind of looked dead, and now it's back up again. It's one of those ones that will ebb and flow, high risk, but I'm keeping a close eye on it. I think it's a cool narrative.
Basically, it's a bet on Ross getting released from prison. If he gets released in this bull run, then pretty good chance that token is gonna.
Pretty good. The thing with meme coins is though it's not just the bet. That is a massive event, but it's about the community forming around it and rallying behind the idea of him and what it stands for, and getting more people excited by that. Because like we saw, there were a bunch of meme coins like Trump and Tramp leading into the election, and they all just tanked after Trump got elected. And so I would be basically selling if and when Ross does get pardoned, and then look to rebuy again if the community stays strong around that. But it's like, it's such a nebulous thing. That's what I meant to say before instead of nefarious. A nebulous thing with meme coins. But I think it's a strong narrative that will garner attention, and attention is the fuel for meme coins.
Amazing. Okay. Zen, thanks so much for joining us again today. Everybody listening in, let us know in the comments, do you keep a journal, and are you in either Ross or Doge, the other Doge? What do you call the other Doge? D period, O period, G
yeah,
period,
that's what people
period?
say. D.O.G.E, Department of Government, Department Doge, there's Doge Gov. I don't know. I mean, a lot of exchanges that are listing it have had to come up with creative ways of listing it, because they can't just put Doge in, because it would just confuse the hell out of people. So that's one issue. On the journal thing, I just wanted to mention, I started my own trading journal a few days ago in Telegram. So I made it public so people can see. It's not one where I shill tickers. I just share, like, my wins and losses and mental health battles throughout the day. So maybe we can post a link to that below or something, and people can check it out. Yeah,
definitely. We'll post that link in the show notes, and you guys can see how Zeneca does his trading journal. It's an incredible way for people to learn from one of the best.
Well, we'll see how good I am at the end of the cycle, but
I knew you're always so modest. I knew you wouldn't like me. Oh man, awesome! Thanks so much for listening, and everybody have a wicked awesome day. As always, if you liked today's episode, please hit subscribe and make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, we're going to also leave a link for Milk Road Pro. You get access to our portfolio where you can see exactly what we are buying. This is your #1 resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note, this show is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Investing in crypto or any asset is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks so much for listening in, my friends. Have a wicked awesome day.